D-line to the Cardinals. This is a big move. Who's the best D-line now in the division?
You already know that question, bro. You have been knowing that question, bro. It's all about consistency, dog. What the Rams been putting out. Not per se myself, but we all know who the real 9-9 is. That's all.
That's right. That's right.
Yes, sir.
That's Michael Brockers walking through an airport speaking to TMZ recently. We know who the real 9-9 is, and he's referring to his teammate Aaron Donald, not J.J. Watt, and not Marshall Goldberg either. Aaron Donald, the real 9-9 in the division. So that raises the question, Charean. Let's ask this question with all due respect to J.J. Watt, who's a Hall of Famer, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. How many NFC West defensive players would you take right now over J.J. Watt? Let's begin with the Rams. There are two that stand out, and I think we'll stipulate Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. Either guy we'd take over J.J. Watt. Is there anyone else on that defense you'd take over J.J. Watt?
Well, I like Leonard Floyd. He had a big year. He had a better year, frankly, than J.J. Watt did, and Michael Brockers. So I'd have to think about those two, but I think they rank right up there with J.J. Watt, if not better than J.J. Watt. I mean, this was, Mike, the number one overall defense in the NFL. They were good, and they're the reason they won the initial playoff game. It had nothing to do with Jared Goff. It had everything to do with that defense against the Seahawks. So I love this defense, and so I would probably take that defensive line over the Cardinals' defensive line. So I might throw those two guys in there at least with J.J. Watt, if not better than J.J. Watt.
Floyd, one of four defensive starters for the Rams, scheduled for free agency next week. A lot of pass rushers, a surprising number of them eligible to become free agents on March 9. Seahawks, who would you say on that defense is better than J.J. Watt? I think we can agree on Jamal Adams. Who would you add beyond that list? Short list.
I would add Bobby Wagner because I think he's still playing at that elite level. He's going to go to the Hall of Fame, too. I think we sometimes forget about him. Those are the only two guys on that defense. I mean, we know how bad that defense was last season. They were 32nd in the league for most of the season, for much of the season. They played better in the second half of the season. But I would put Bobby Wagner right now to this day as being better than J.J. Watt. Over the course of his career, I'm giving J.J. Watt. But right now, I think I'm ranking Bobby Wagner above J.J. Watt, Mike.
Seahawks, another team with four defensive starters headed for free agency, led by K.J. Wright, who, if he was under contract, you could make the argument maybe he is at or past J.J. Watt's level right now. That would be something on which reasonable minds possibly could differ. All right, let's go San Francisco 49ers. Yes, Nick Bosa. Beyond Bosa, who would we put on that list?
Even Bosa with the injury. I think you go Fred Warner, right? I mean, Aaron Rodgers called him the best linebacker in football. It's really hard to argue with that. I'd certainly put him on there. And I said if the 49ers are going to make a trade with anybody for a quarterback, if they get in the Deshaun Watson conversation, if I'm Houston, I want him. I want Fred Warner on my team, and I'm demanding him in that trade. It's going to hurt to get him. So he's a guy I would want to trade for. Dee Ford and Solomon Thomas both were hurt early last season. Dee Ford played one game. Solomon Thomas played 2 games. Perhaps if they hadn't been hurt early last year and we're coming off those injuries, Mike, I might throw them in there, but they are coming off injuries, so I probably wouldn't throw them in there. I'd probably just say Nick Bosa and Fred Warner.
I agree with you on Warner and Bosa. Eric Armstead could make a case for it. He got the big contract after the trade of DeForest Buckner last year because they realized they couldn't pay both of them. Solomon Thomas due to become a free agent. We talk about Bud Dupree all the time, coming off of a torn ACL and becoming a free agent. Solomon Thomas in the same boat. 4 other 49ers defensive starters. They have 5 altogether. Yes, 4 plus 1 is 5. Jason Verrett, Jaquiski Tartt, Richard Sherman, and Dante Johnson all becoming free agents in just 9 days. All right, the Arizona Cardinals, the team for which J.J. Watt will play. Chandler Jones, better than J.J. Watt. Who else on that defense would you say you'd rather have than J.J. Watt?
I'd go Budda Baker, Mike. I think he's outstanding, one of the best safeties in the league, and I think he proved it this year. So both of those guys. And I think Chandler Jones right now in his career is better than J.J. Watt. A couple years ago when he had the huge year, I voted for him for Defensive Player of the Year. The Cardinals weren't very good, but I just thought he dominated. I thought he was fantastic. And that probably will make J.J. Watt a better player. But right now, today, Chandler Jones, even with his injury, is the better pass rusher.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.